Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hops, Beans, and Leaves, your one source for craft beer, fine coffee, and fine tobacco products. Tonight we're going to take a little different turn and we're going to be talking about some coffee. So first of all, welcome back Hogan. How's it going today? We've got Hogan over here smoking a pipe. He's going to be silent in the background. We've got Hector from Hogshead Cigar Lounge. And we've got Josh from Papa Hops Bottle Shop.
Nice to see you guys again.
So to start off, Josh, you brought us some fantastic beer. What do you got for us tonight?
I did. Let me grab the bottle. Without falling over. This is brand new out of Apocalypse. This is Devil's Secret. It's a Doppel Stick. And I'll get into more about that later. It's a German style beer. It's an alt beer top fermenting ale. But it's matured like a lager, so it's matured at a very cold temperature to give that crisp, clean finish. Again, it's a stick alt, so a little history behind that. In Dusseldorf, that means secret, so the brewers would make a doppel, and then this was what they kept for themselves. So this is kind of their reserve. And it's a higher ABV alt beer. You should be picking up, again, some more raisin, dry fruit, toffee, that sort of thing going on here. But it's a style that not very many brewers brew. It's kind of one of those old dead styles, so I thought it was really neat. Get it in the Papa Hop Bottle Shop.
That's very thick, creamy.
Yeah, and it's done in Forest, Virginia, so it's a Virginia beer.
Nice.
So why don't most people brew it?
It's just one of those styles that get kind of lost. You know, it's what they call an alt beer. So, you know, which I think is really fascinating. Again, it's an ale. Ales typically ferment from the top to the bottom, whereas a lager ferments from the bottom to the top at colder temperatures. This is kind of a mix. It's like a hybrid. So, super enjoyable.
It's kind of stoutish. I mean, what do you guys think?
No, I'm enjoying it. It's nice. It's thick. Again, since day one, I'm not an IPA, or excuse me, I'm not a craft beer kind of guy, but ever since we started this show, you know, it's something that's been, you know, growing on my palate. Matter of fact, I just stopped by Papa Hop's Bottle Shop today, picked up a few things for myself, and but I, you know, and right now I'm smoking the Illusion Rothschild, and that is pairing really nice with this because you've got a nice, heavy, thick beer. Not extremely heavy, but it fits with the flavor profile, which is about a medium, maybe mild to medium, depending on what you like. But it's smoking really nice together.
Are you guys picking up? It finishes really crisp and clean, like
Yeah,
a lager
like
would.
a lager.
Yeah, just right on the palate, and then it's cleansed and gone. So
it's not a lager, but it's made like a lager.
it's conditioned like a lager.
Conditioned like a lager.
So it's an ale, and then what they do is they during the mature when beer matures, it's kept in cold cellars, so it's matured like a lager.
So I don't know, what were we drinking last week?
That was the
Redneck Wedding.
no,
Redneck.
it was the Redneck. It was the
I wasn't here.
Enlightened Desba.
All right, so that one
Oh.
finished really dry, right? That was the one that was like a bourbon or
Yeah, it's bourbon barrel.
bourbon. So it finished with that nice.
It was almost too dry for
right
me.
at the end of it, but where you, like you said, with this one, when you take a drink, it finishes nice and crisp. It still leaves a lot of that flavor in there as it's as it's going down. So no, I'm really enjoying this one. And
Very good.
Matt asked earlier, it's the Illusion Rothschild. It's about $5 a pop. So
That's not bad.
wow.
So tonight's episode, we wanted to dig a little bit more into coffee. A lot of the questions that I get about coffee are about roast levels, about caffeine levels in roast, and just how the roast affects the coffee. So what I did tonight was I have 3 different coffees that we just prepared, as well as bean samples down here that we can hold up to the camera and show you guys. Going through from lightest to darkest. And we're going to start with the lightest and just work our way down because That way your palate is not overwhelmed.
That's delicious right there, whatever that is.
The first one is a light. All three of these are Peru. It's a Peru hard bean, sourced from across a number of different estates in Peru. This first one that we're going to try is a Peru hard bean roasted light. So we're roasting with my roaster. It's roasted to about 535 degrees Fahrenheit bean temperature.
You gotta. Again, I know nothing about coffee, but what type of roaster? I mean, what's a roaster?
My roaster is what's called a fluid bed roaster or hot air roaster. Most people, when you see a coffee roaster, what most people picture is this big drum that bakes the beans and it turns them as it bakes them, and that's what creates consistency through the coffee. Mine is a cylinder that the beans go in, and it's actually superheated air that I'm blowing through the beans.
Okay.
So it creates what makes the beans look like fluid. And as they're dancing around, I'm able to create a lot more consistency with it. But the downside to it is it's all smaller batch. The largest fluid bed roaster on the market right now sits at around 6.5, 7 pounds, which is what I have.
Well, I know you're telling me that a lot of the commercial coffee guys, they do the laser roasting, so that's kind of the difference, more the artisanal.
Yeah, the laser roasting,
correct?
I mean, that's going to the far end of the spectrum as far as high production, because they can roast 1,800, 2,000 pounds a minute, where the coffee is shaken out on a bed of lasers, and it runs under that bed of lasers, and that's what cooks it.
Freaking lasers, man!
Freaking lasers.
Freaking laser beams, man.
That creates a charred coffee. What you get anytime you get a large volume, especially with that other company that we won't mention with the green logo, where you get that burn taste is from lack of consistency. When you're roasting 200 pounds at a time, which is what most of their drums hold, it's hard to keep that consistency through 200 pounds of beans being turned.
Well, pour that shit,
So,
man.
Yeah.
this one, like I said, this is a very, very light roast.
Why don't I get my own coffee? I mean, I did spit in this one.
Well,
I'll take that
one.
You spin it.
this one's got the Mexican juice in it.
Mexican juice.
You can order this one online. He'll pay you to take it away from him.
Do we have the beet cutter?
I do, yeah. That's right.
Of course
Thank
he
you,
has
sir.
the beet cutter.
Ah.
You gotta put your lips in it.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
They're like all the stars and have fish lips.
So with the light roast, and Josh, if you want to hold, I'm making a mess over
You're
here
all
with
right.
your stuff.
You're all right.
If you want to hold that up to the camera.
Sure.
This is a light roast or a cinnamon roast, as most coffee roasters would refer to it. When you smell it, you're going to smell more of the nature of the beans and the soil that they were grown in. It's going to smell grassy. You're actually going to get a lot of grass taste or even dirt taste from the lighter roast.
I'm getting that. Even when you started pouring it earlier, I got a lot of that coffee or that grassy taste to it. And not to say anything bad about your coffee, but I couldn't do this.
Well, and this is the great part because you're going to see a progression as we go down the line. All three of these are the same coffees. Now, this also has your highest caffeine content of the three coffees. We've got people logging in on Periscope. If you're watching the feed on YouTube, definitely log in on Periscope on Tuesday nights at 8:30. Send us messages, that kind of stuff. We get a kick out of it. So,
See, I kind of like that one.
I like it
It's
too.
got a nice
Yeah,
taste to
it feels like it tastes like I'm putting grass in my mouth. Real literally. I mean, I've eaten grass before, but
Cheers, Ben.
in a lot of
when I was a kid, I ate some grass.
in a lot of areas of the world, this would actually be called a Scandinavian roast. They're known for roasting their coffee super light, getting that grassy taste, and that's where you get the nuances in a lot of African coffees of the berries and the nuts and that kind of stuff. You get it from roasting it lighter.
Well, I remember you telling me that if you roast it lighter, more of the caffeine comes out. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Absolutely. You've got a higher caffeine content with lighter roasted coffee. As we get darker, we get less caffeine content, and we start to pick up more of the flavor of the roast.
It's caffeine, not caffeine.
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 That's weird because I always thought that the darker, the stronger, the more caffeine.
Yeah,
But it's the other way.
It's the other way.
I get a lot of customers saying that too in the shop. They're like, "No, the darker the roast, the." I'm like, "Go talk to Clark at PCR. He knows what you're talking about."
Yeah, I've actually been in his shop before where a lady just would not agree with me, and I finally said, "You know what? All right, you're right.
You're right.
You're right. If that's what you're saying, you're right."
So it's something about the actual roasting that denatures it or somehow?
Exactly. Decaf coffee, there is no decaf coffee plant. The way they make decaf is
Roast it until it's dead?
the two standard forms are they either wash it with chlorine or what's called Swiss water process, where they wash it with water. And as you're washing the caffeine out, you're also washing a lot of the flavor out. You're basically brewing it twice. That's why a lot of decaf coffees taste really flat, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I try to stick to as high a quality of decaf coffee as possible, but even then, you know, if you notice on our website, my decaf, I named decaf. I put a lot of time and effort into naming it because it is what it is.
Yeah. And yeah.
So that's the light roast. Moving down the line a little bit, we're going to go to a medium roast. This is going to be more what you think of when you think of coffee. This is going to be a smooth, even drink. This tends to be the optimal roast level that I've found for this coffee.
It smells exactly the way you described it.
It's
It's a little bit more balanced, I think.
smooth, even body, even balance.
Thank you, sir.
Medium body. It's not going to have that pungent flavor either way, either grassy or dark roasted.
I tried. I couldn't handle it.
But this is also going to be where you're going to pick up some of the nuances of the sugar cane that Peruvian coffee is so well known for. Peruvian coffee, one of the big things that a lot of people like about it is it's an easy to drink coffee black. That's because a lot of it's grown in or near sugarcane fields. You're going to pick up a little bit of that cane sweetness.
Yeah.
And just a really easy medium cup coffee. So what do you think about it?
I like to drink my coffee black, so that fits me really, really well. I don't like putting any milk or, sugar in that. So that to me. Now, my question to you is, Wawa has the Cuban coffee, right? I'm guessing that's a bunch of...
Cuban coffee is actually a preparation of coffee.
Okay.
A standard Cuban shot is a shot of espresso with either natural sugar or brown sugar layered on top of the shot after it's tamped, and then they brew the coffee through it. So the hot water goes through the sugar and then through the coffee itself. It smooths it out, creates an ultra smooth shot of espresso.
So let me ask, because what I'm getting out of is that sweetness, but I'm also getting some bitterness. And so what Josh is smoking, he's smoking the 88 Candela Bayou Illusion as well. And that's got that nice green shade of a wrapper to it, which adds, to me at least, some bitterness to it. I'm interested to know how's this coffee pairing with that? Is it overwhelming? I mean, the coffee's good. I like it a lot better than that roast, and I love that cigar there, but I'm almost imagining myself it being too much.
It is. It is a little bit too much. That's why I set it down, I thought, well, let me just take a minute with the coffee, but it definitely has a really peppery taste to it. And, I'm enjoying it, but you're right. From the first one, which was the light roast, into this medium roast, it's definitely a little bit overwhelming. So.
Well, and the other thing is, with us having just drank the light roast, you could still have some of that grassiness on your palate.
Mm-hmm.
This roast right here is actually what we use as our single origin Peru. When we sell single origin Peru, which we actually just put it up on the website here a couple days ago, but we've sold a ton of it at events and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is what we use.
And thank you for all the hearts.
So, it is a medium roast. You're still going to get a little bit of that acidity, not necessarily bitterness, but acidity there, where it hits you right here.
Right.
But it tends to pair really well with, from my experience, with a mild cigar.
I will say this too, that you can definitely taste a difference. Again, before we met Clark, my wife and I, we were drinking the Keurig thing and that sort of stuff. And you can definitely taste the difference between a local gourmet coffee rather than that stuff you buy at Walmart or, again, the green label guys like you're talking about.
Well, and this is right at a 17-degree difference roast level wise. So I'm going from about 435 to about 452.
Okay.
To go to the medium roast. So
what do you do with the beans, though? I'm curious. I keep thinking it's like a big carousel. Like the beans are like...
That's actually the way a standard roaster is. It's got a big drum that literally turns the entire time and bakes the beans. And one of the things in the small market that people do, a lot of upstart coffee companies will build their own roasters, and they'll literally have a gas grill with a turning drum on top of it. So it's only heating the bottom of it.
Okay.
The higher-end Turkish roasters and the higher-end roasters will have more of an all-encompassing heat source, but it still has to turn those beans constantly in order to create that consistency. With mine, it's a steel tube. It's a steel cylinder that's about this big around and about that tall, and I'm blowing air up through the bottom of it. It's got a cylindrical shape at the bottom of it that spins the air.
So it's air, it's not flame.
It's air.
Okay.
For me, I've got heating elements that heat the air to around 530 degrees and blow it up through there.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I'm playing with that. And the nice part is I can dial it in within about half a second. I can adjust the temperature. So I'm watching that constant flow and watching what's going on with the coffee.
So tell us about your third roast there.
The third roast. This is where we're getting into. I'm going to go ahead and pass this one out here. This is where we're going to the dark roast.
That actually would be a good idea.
Yeah.
To actually go out and get some live feed of you actually brewing or roasting some coffee.
Oh, absolutely.
That would be pretty cool.
Absolutely. And we'll be doing that in a later episode, I'm sure.
Now, that's the stuff I'm talking about.
Now, this is going to be more along Hector's lines. I already know.
That mud?
The mud.
The mud.
The mud.
Here, let me get you some of this.
And no, that's not what you use an ashtray for.
Yeah, it's not a derogatory thing.
Yeah.
I think this is probably what me and my wife have at home, right?
This is going to be much closer to what the American standard for a lot of coffee is. Americans like their coffee roasted dark. A lot of parts of the world, it's not that way. People like their coffee roasted lighter. There are a lot of parts of the world that they're still roasting it over an open flame right before they make it.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
So this right here, you're going to get, when you first smell it, you're going to get that almost caramelization. You're going to get the really smooth taste. And what it's doing is, it's almost like, have you ever had creme brulee? Or as your people would refer to it, flan?
Oh, okay, flan out of here.
I'm sorry, we did get one question, and what it said, what is the pipe man smoking?
The pipe man is smoking Samuel Gawith Full Virginia Flake. It's 100% Virginia leaf, and the Virginia leaf has a high natural dextrose content, which gives it a natural sweet flavor.
Yeah.
So it went really well with the medium roast because of the sweetness in the coffee and the sweetness in the tobacco. Really played well together.
The limerick said word.
I'm really interested in how it pairs with this.
I'll tell you, I just getting the smell of this stuff. May I open it?
Absolutely.
I know you can't smell it, but
Now you guys got me intrigued. I got this in my pipe as well.
We need a scratch and sniff.
Smell-o-vision will be coming out soon.
So this is what it looks
subscribe to our feed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because that's where the smell-o-vision will be coming.
dude, you almost want to put this in your mouth and just eat it raw.
It's like a piece of jerky. It's like a piece of tobacco jerky.
It is.
You could probably
It
chew
smells
on that.
really, really good.
and I'd probably vomit all over my.
No, but you're right. With this dark coffee, it's a little bit more complex, and the Virginia blends are kind of one note. They're not very complex. They're kind of, I would call it like elegant. There's not a lot going on. It's one thing, but it's a really nice thing. Sometimes. And the complexity in the dark roast is kind of bouncing off the sweetness, and it's really good together.
I get it.
Dark roast coffee is going to be great for that late night or that late afternoon drink of coffee, especially if you're smoking a good Virginia blend. It's going to have that caramelization, the sugars in the coffee. Once you get through second crack, there's sugars in the coffee that are then charring, and they're giving it that really nice caramel flavor.
Yeah, I mean, this coffee is what I'm digging this. This is the stuff that reminds me of being on duty at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and out there in the middle of nowhere in the desert, and just drinking this stuff to stay awake. It's like drinking molasses.
So,
and do you think that would be with pipe tobacco too? Because the Virginians seem to be a little sugary. The Virginia blends, you know,
they're very sweet,
mm-hmm.
very sugary.
So how's this one pairing with your cigar? Now that we've kind of been through the gamut.
This one fit best with the beer, and it could have fit really well with that first one. I wasn't digging the first one. It doesn't pair very well with this heavier coffee, and I think this coffee would probably do best with a much meatier, a cigar that's a little bit spicier, a little heavier to the taste, just to really complement the flavors, and probably something like the first thing that's coming to my mind is like a Christoph GC series or a Chupacabra, Maduro, something heavy and choppy.
You gotta say Chupacabra again. You gotta say it one more time.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra.
Have you seen a Chupacabra?
I've got 3 of them at home.
They're feisty little animals.
Scaring me.
I mean, look at that ash, man. You got that thing going.
You know, dude, Illusion makes a great cigar, and this Rothschild is just perfect for, some quick smoke, but that you can enjoy it for $5. You can't beat it.
That's a pretty good indicator of how the cigar is rolled, how well it holds ash.
Absolutely, it is. It really, you can tell how well it's built. I mean, you can even look. It's got an even burn all the way around, holding its ash very well. Hasn't flaked off one bit, and it's smoking great.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Like a true professional.
Might have to get me one of those.
So now going down the line, you'd go more towards a dark roast.
I'm a dark roast kind of guy.
Now
I gotta have it.
You initially said you liked the light, but you were.
I'm teeter-totter, okay? Like, my go-to would probably be the dark. This, though, I really enjoy. So,
see, with most light roasts, you're going to find African coffees.
Well, actually, this morning, I cheated because I was late, so I went to my Keurig and put an East African coffee Keurig thing in there just to kind of get a,
You can just slap
so
it down.
Yeah.
That'll be in the after show, people.
No, it won't.
No.
No.
So we got about 5 minutes left in the show before we go. So, anything you want to close out with?
Yeah, just a quick shout out. Had a great conversation today with an old friend of mine, Alan Connor. I know you're probably watching the show. If you're not watching it on here, you're going to be watching it on YouTube, I know. So just thanks for catching up, man.
Apocalypse, as always.
Apocalypse Furniture. Thank you so much. We love the furniture. We've had a lot of interest in this table, so we're hoping it doesn't sell, but at the same time, it's for sale. So if someone snags it, we'll be coming to you.
Also, a plug to the Cartel Cigar Club.
Cartel Cigar Club.
And I got one I got to walk away for a moment, but Apocalypse Ale Works out of Forest, Virginia. Thank you for coming down and allowing us to carry your products.
Yep.
So what do you got planned for next week?
So next week, we are going to be taking a trip back to Pipe World, and we're going to be talking about cleaning pipes. Isn't that right, Hogan?
Talk about cleaning pipes, how to keep your pipe tasting fresh. If you guys have any questions, hit them up. I'll look over them. I'll be happy to answer them next week.
Alfredo is not your guy to go to.
What?
And guys, as you watch this show, if you have ideas for the show, please let us know. Hit us up on Facebook,
Yeah,
Twitter, email. You see us in person, say hey. Let us know what you think of the show and what you want to see on it. I know here in a couple of weeks we've got Kevin Benedict coming in from the Stafford Homebrewers Club. He's actually sitting over here in our audience tonight. So, Kevin, why don't you come on in and say hey?
All right. Make an appearance.
Make an appearance.
Also, to Cal, our production manager, thank you very much for coming out every week, putting up with us.
Over here.
Yeah, man, come on in. Come on.
All right.
In. How you doing, Hector?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Hogan.
I know so many people that go to this shop, and I've never been for myself.
Well, there you go. Well, you've been here now.
Excellent.
It's the place to be.
So I'm liking that pipe, man.
Thanks.
What are you smoking tonight?
I am smoking Dunhill 965, which is a
That's
really
classic.
robust
Classic.
English blend. It's just it doesn't make any mistakes with making it too gentle. So
Nice.
it's for the dark roast lovers.
Fantastic.
There you might have to hit that up.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's my everyday. That and Peter Stokeby English Luxury.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got that here.
I've always got a couple.
Yeah.
Luxury bullseye or
The luxury stuff, and then I've got some. We don't have a large selection. We've been trying to build up on it. Hogan's given us some ideas to kind of expand what we've got now, but hopefully in the future we'll carry a lot more brands, though.
So, guys, thank you for joining us. And once again, if you're on Periscope, hang around for the after show. If not, hit us up on Periscope. Here soon, we'll be moving to YouTube for live viewing. So enjoy and have a great night.
Have a good night. Thanks for showing up.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.